Yo, what's going on, guys? We have a bunch of new Yu-Gi-Oh cards to check out. Infernities are getting even more support, and on top of that, that fossil archetype is getting more support too. And dang, look at these artworks. They do look pretty dang cool. Plus, on top of that, it looks like favorites are getting some new little support in like a token form. And then on top of that, we've got some new cheesy card that is probably going to be able to open up the doors to some broken, ridiculous, cheesy combos. But anyways, if you guys are excited about new Yu-Gi-Oh cards, drop a like on this because you're about to see a bunch. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Alright, so the first new card that we're going to be taking a look at is part of the Infernities. This is Infernity Sage. It is a level 2 Dark Fiend Tuner effect monster with 400 attack and 800 defense points. And it says that you can only use this card's name first and second effects once per turn each. The first effect is, during your main phase, you can discard your entire hand. The second effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to send one Infernity monster from your deck to the graveyard. You must have no cards in your hand to activate and resolve this effect over here. Obviously, since this is not going to be doing anything else, you should be able to proc a lot of other effects of anything, which can open up the doors for this to be utilized in other decks, not just, of course, in Infernities. So I'm curious to see if people actually do try this out. Next up, though, we happen to have Infernity Pawn. It is a Dark Fiend effect, level 1 with 0 attack and 0 defense. And it says, during your draw phase, if you have no cards in your hand, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Instead of conducting your normal draw, activate one of these effects. Place one Infernity card from your deck on top of your deck, or you get to set one void spell/trap directly from your deck to your field, which will obviously work with the previous Infernity support that we just covered. So I think that this is definitely going to be a card that people will be trying out. I mean, obviously, top deck, Archfiend, there you go. Instant access to getting a whole bunch of pluses. Next up, though, let's go ahead and take a look at the new fossil machines over here. So Jim's Fossil Fusion monster appears. So the first card that we're going to be taking a look at is the Fossil Machine Skull Convoy. It's going to be a level 8 Earth Rock Fusion effect monster with 2100 attack and 1800 defense points. Its materials are one rock monster in your graveyard plus one level 7 or higher monster. And it says that it must first be special summoned with Fossil Fusion. The first part of it says, while this fusion summon card is in the monster zone, monsters your opponent controls lose attack equal to their original defense. The second effect is, it can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. The third effect is, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you get to inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. So maybe you get to reduce everything, attack over everything, and then burn your opponent for a bunch of damage. So I think that that's kind of cool that they are getting in that card. Next up, though, we have the Fossil Machine Skull Wagon over here. I, again, love the artworks on it. Here's a zoomed up picture on this. They just look like crazy cars. Anyways, this is going to be a level 6 Earth Rock Fusion effect monster with 1700 attack and 1500 defense points. It says the materials are one rock monster in your graveyard plus one level 5 or 6 monster. It says must first be special summoned with Fossil Fusion. You can only use this card's name's third effect once per turn. The first part of it says it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. The second effect is, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can inflict 800 damage to your opponent. The third effect is, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a spell and trap on the field and destroy it. So kind of like a mini version of the other monster that we just saw. And over here we have the Fossil Machine Skull Buggy. I love the artwork on this one as well. Anyways, it is a level 4 Earth Rock effect monster, 1400 attack and 1200 defense points. And it says, as materials, one rock monster in your graveyard plus one level 4 or lower monster. It says must first be special with Fossil Fusion, and you can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. The first part of it is, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you get to inflict 600 damage to your opponent. Second effect is, you can banish the card from your graveyard to add one monster that specifically lists the card Fossil Fusion and its text from your deck to your hand. So basically little stepping stones into, of course, the nice little boss monster over here. I'm curious to see if some people try to go ahead and like run in something with like an equip, then you can just deal massive amounts of damage with this card. I like how there's no like downside with it really at all, other than like it doesn't have like a negate. I guess that would probably be something that it would basically need to be more viable. But anyways, Next up over here, this card has so much potential for insane combos or just really cheesy ways to go ahead and maybe even troll your opponent. So this is Level Resist Wall over here. It is a normal trap card that says you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. The first part says if a monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can target one of those monsters, special summon any number of monsters from your deck in defense position whose total levels equal the level of that target, but their effects are negated. Now, what's interesting with this, as far as I'm aware of, like I gotta double check on the translation, obviously, when it comes out, because in the anime version of this card, because obviously this is where it's from, or the manga over here. So this card effect in the manga, it says activate only when a monster you control is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. You get to special monsters from your hand over here. Now this says straight up from the deck, which is multiple monsters to equal up the level of, I believe it's the one that's targeted, not the one that destroyed your monster, as in you're not going to be targeting your opponent's card. So this has so much potential. So what this means and what this opens up the door for is some crazy plays. So let's go ahead and hop right into it, because again, it's not from the hand, it's from the deck, which is insane. So you could take a card like Fuser, Dragon, the Duel Mode Beast, or just any level 7 monster you just summon, right? Or you can just special summon it or whatever. Like there's no real restrictions on like what the card had to be destroyed. It just has to be destroyed by opponent's card effect or by battle, which by battle is obviously really easy. Just go ahead and set it, let it die, whatever. And then this card goes away. This is a level 7 monster, which means you could go ahead and be like, I'm just going to summon Exodia. Now, obviously summoning Exodia doesn't give you the win condition, and on top of that, it does negate the effect, although Exodia's effect is supposed to be in the hand anyways, which I don't believe, your opponent can't even, as far as I'm aware of, your opponent cannot negate Exodia's effect. They cannot chain to it. It is an instant win condition. So if you were to bounce these cards back to your hand, you would instantly win the game. Now, how would you do that, right? Because obviously there's 5 monsters. Now, it might be a little bit cheesy. Someone might figure this out, but I'm sure that there's probably some card that like returns all monsters you control. I tried to look up certain text of it. I couldn't find any, but someone let me know down below in the comment section below if there is some type of like a spell card or a trap card that like bounces all monsters that you control to the hand or something like that. The only card that I found that I could think of is Photon Alexandra Queen. Now, obviously you'd have to make this, they'd have to destroy another monster, and you'd still have to bring these out, and this card would have to survive in order to get that effect. But what this card does do is you detach a material to return all monsters on the field to the hand. So that would be everything. Now the burn damage doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to bounce back Exodia so I just instantly win. But this would be very difficult to pull off because remember, you only have, technically it's 5 regular monster zones. You'd have to make this in Exodia, which might not be the easiest thing. But even if, like, let's say all these cards stay up on the board, right? You could instantly just be like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and link summon for something and then backup soldier, add them back, or add back this card via whatever other Exodia support, like a legendary Exodia Incarnate. Heck, you could go ahead and just start link summoning, go into legendary Exodia Incarnate, you have a 5,000 attacking monster that is immune to other card effects, and then once returned to end phase, you get to start adding back the other cards. The only difficult card to add back is the head of Exodia. The rest of the body parts, like they're just vanillas, like you could just add them back. So I want to say that this does definitely open up the doors to some really weird stuff with Exodia, or any deck that requires like a very specific, like hard, like set of cards to go ahead and get out. Like if you control like this in your graveyard, you can do this. Let me know down below what would work, because I'm also thinking that there's also the other Exodia card that's level 10 that you can special summon by just like bouncing like something from the graveyard back to the deck, and it's a level 10. You could just summon that card basically for free, let it die, and then instantly you could send whatever you want to the graveyard. You could send enough Light Sworns for Judgment Dragon. I don't know, the possibilities with this card, Level Resist Wall, are actually really cool, and I think that it's super underrated. Obviously, yes, you have to have a card, it has to die, and it's a little bit slower this day and age to have a monster, let it die, and then get this awesome effect in a trap form. But I just feel like it opens up the doors to so much more potential weird things. And let me know, guys, what other combos or weird things that we can do with Level Resist Wall, because again, I like this card. I like it when there's creative cards in the game. Now next up we have some new, I guess it's supposed to be kind of fairy support. Anyways, this is Tellus the Little Angel. It is a level 3 light fairy effect monster with 500, and it says that you can only use this card's name first and second effects once per each. The first effect is, if this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you get to special summon 1 Tellus Wing token fairy light level 1/0/0. And if you control a Talos Wing token, you can banish this card from your graveyard and one spell from your hand to spell summon 2 Talos Wing tokens. Also, you cannot spell summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except for from your hand. And I'm like, oh, okay. There goes the idea of using it for the new token god over here. But nonetheless, there's another rush card over here called the Peacock Hydron over here. It's a level 5 lightsabers type effect monster, 1600 attack, 100 defense points. Its requirement is you can activate if you control no other monsters and there is a Femtron in your graveyard. The effect is to send this card, you control the graveyard, and draw 2 cards. Then it's the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So we have some type of like mill deck going on for this. Now it is level 5, so you have tribute for it, but nonetheless, if it's got a good enough effect, maybe some people will go ahead and try it out for rush duels. But anyways, guys, those are the new cards. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section below with these. And if you guys are new here and you guys want to see some gameplay of specifically this card, I'm definitely going to be showing off some cheeky stuff with this for sure. Make sure you guys are subscribed and that bell is rung, so as soon as it comes out, you guys will definitely see it indeed. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the cards. And if you guys got cool ideas, again, with any of the cards, feel free to go ahead and send in a replay if you'd like to be featured on the channel. If you would like to go ahead and send the YRP replay file. But anyways, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.